right, there we go. We got it that time. All right. Welcome back to the Anime Safe Space podcast. We're on episode 32 this week, and we have another special guest with us. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I don't really have an introduction. I guess I'll do it like this. I'm NECRO XIII. I make the sometimes funny videos on YouTube, and I stay on Twitter where I retweet big anime titties.
That is respectable. Very respectable. Man of culture, that's what I like to say.
Yep. I personally have been a fan of your videos for a while. Like what you do, like I said, so wanted to have you on the podcast. And I think even Jake maybe remembers, but like before we started the podcast, I had like mentioned like people I wanted to have on, and I'd mentioned you. Yeah, and you were one of them. So it's kind of cool.
He's probably like, "What? Who's this guy?"
Yeah, I mean they know you now, hopefully.
So. I watched a couple.
Yeah.
So I at least have a good guesstimate of how you work, your inner workings.
What, you know that he uses a...
I'll be honest, I didn't watch any of your videos. I was too busy with homework.
At least you're honest.
Week before finals week for me, so... Yeah, it's the week before finals week for me, so, like, I'm suffering right now.
That's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, made our guest sad. Are you serious, Tel?
Oh, don't worry. As soon as I get done making the videos, I don't watch them afterwards. It's like, it happens.
That's fair.
Yeah, you don't even watch your own content.
Nope.
I don't know. I'm the opposite. It's like, not even like out of like narcissism or anything, but it's like I get so bored at work that I'll just listen to our podcast episodes or like old videos. I don't know. It's just like, I just find entertainment that way, I guess.
Yeah, I can't listen to myself or watch myself.
Dude, I have a hard time listening to you too.
I don't rewatch any of our shit, honestly.
I don't, but I do like every single one of our videos on YouTube.
What are you taking a jab at me because they're not all uploaded yet, or?
No,
my
definitely
bad, man.
Not.
Well, speaking of uploading videos, you're working on a new video right now, right, Necro?
You know, I don't even know anymore, to be honest with you. Because, again, everyone keeps sending me the same Neuralities video. And I got through the first one. And now I have to do the second one. And I'm putting it all into one video, so that way it's just one super long boy video. But after I did the stream yesterday, I felt a little... I don't know what the word I'm quite looking for is, but I felt like my brain cells were actively shooting themselves in the head.
Yeah, I completely feel you on that. I don't know why, but I tormented myself by listening to that video twice. And it just really bothered me, that whole video. And I don't know, to give you context, Helen Jake, the Neuralities video, she's a YouTuber that she talks about character coding in one of her videos and basically says that age kind of doesn't necessarily matter, because with how characters are drawn, they can be minor coded. So Kana, even though she's 9,000 years old, she's technically a kid because she's minor coded, things like that. And she also called ReZero a male power fantasy, which, yeah, I don't know how you get a male power fantasy out of ReZero. But her newest video, she said she's worrying about cancel culture, and then there's a lot to explain, but the gist of it is she jumps from lolicon to racism and relates the two.
Yo, you know,
Amazing.
I've never seen such a great two topics just intertwined together like that. I'm surprised.
It was a stretch and a half.
How do you manage to get those two together in the same idea?
By simply existing.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Yeah, it's when she got to that point in the video, dude, I felt like extreme whiplash. I was like, holy fuck, we just moved 1,000 miles an hour. I was like, we're talking about fucking lolly characters to blackface, the Confederate flag, and KKK propaganda. I'm like, whoa, what the?
I know, it's this weird thing that she leapt from one thing to another, and I thought, like, the pedantic one that I had covered before was probably like the worst thing I'd ever heard about the goblins being the you-know-who's. And I think this one is far more different, and for some reason it's worse. I didn't think we could really get down that far.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for most people like that you've covered, I was like, yeah, they say something stupid, and then I just kind of like get over it. But this one is like, just, I don't know, it's just bothering me like deeply, the shit she says, because it's like, yeah, like everybody knows, you know, we're gonna probably be slandering a lot of people on here, but I don't fucking care. Mother's Basement, he's an idiot. Joey, he says stupid shit, but this is just, holy hell. I don't know, man.
I need to watch the video.
You should have. I was gonna tell you to watch that one in specific. Instead, he watched the big boy talk about the black woman. So
the black woman show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I would encourage you, I guess, to see the video to form your own opinion, Jake. But also, I don't know. I don't think she deserves the clicks, so it's tough. It's a tough.
I love the video. I think it's a great video, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I think it's a great video because she tells you about the problematic media. Specifically, if you go to the Dragon Maid part, can't spoil it for you because I had to censor pretty much almost all of my stream yesterday because of what she showed. And if it were my video, YouTube and Susan would have just came down with the biggest hammer and just knocked my ass out. That's the preface I'm gonna give to you before you watch it if you do.
I'm definitely gonna watch it after what you just said to me.
It's almost 50 minutes long, and believe me, it feels like it. So
it sounds like a great activity to do while high.
Oh
so
no, that'll ruin your buzz.
Yeah, man. It was.
No, dude, I listen to Sam Hyde when I'm high. Have you heard of Sam Hyde?
See, he has his own like thing going on, and it somehow has intelligence put behind it. This video, you'll have fun with it. That's what I'll say.
There's no sign of human intelligence anywhere in that video.
There really wasn't any, man. Like, I can't. Yeah, I don't want to spoil like what she talks about either in there, but like, it really bothered me, man. It's like shit she just says was like fucking crazy. I was like, how do you get to these points? How do you draw these conclusions? And the fact is, the fact that her video has like an extremely high like to dislike ratio, and like everybody in the comics are kind of like jerking her off. I'm like, oh, this is kind of sad. Because usually, like with takes like that, you'd have people like in the comics giving backlash. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen any of that. So,
well, what I heard from people, so unconfirmed, it's only single confirmed if you want to put it that way. She was deleting comments that were critical of her in the second video. But maybe she saw like maybe one or two bad takes and said, "Oh, those got to go."
Mm. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter too. But yeah,
if she did do that, that's very petty. It's like it goes back to like what was it? The power move, yeah. But it's like it's petty because it's like kind of like in basketball, like Kevin Durant, what he does. He has freaking burner accounts just to slander other people that are making fun of him.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that's. I'm thinking this could be a video. Live reaction would become a React channel.
I've seen. I don't know how many more reactions I can get. Like I said, I mean, I am making kind of a video on it. I don't know because it really bothered me. I don't even like think of myself as an argumentative person, but like Jesus Christ, man. And yeah, I don't think I can sit through that video because I'm technically watching it a third time while I'm editing. I don't want to sit through it a fourth time, man. I'm already going insane.
I think you do need to go insane so we can kick you off the podcast.
Or just keep me on so I'm the fucking even more of a bumbling idiot. Turn this into a shit show more.
No, we're getting Hadrian to replace you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's yeah, I don't blame you if you don't make a part 2 of it or something, because I did listen to that stream and it was yeah. It's there's so much to unpack with that fucking video. And all of our other videos to add to that.
You see, and I was talking to Netsu, who I had on the stream yesterday, and the thing that we kind of came to the conclusion to, and it was like a few other people were there too, is that we had some hot takes. I guess they would be considered hot takes for the entire planet. But one of them is that there is no anime community, quote unquote, because there's so many detached parts of it that it can't be called a community. Because there's like JoJo tubers, there's YouTubers that are into anime, which is the common thread, but they are into like mecha only, or they're into shonen stuff, and so it's really just an amalgamation of those. But the only common thing that they have is anime. The other thing was that the anitubers. This is what I kind of put on Twitter. It was the anitube people that are making videos, your mother basements and things of that nature. What they end up doing is they allow everyone to make videos, which is fine because no one can physically stop them from making videos. But a thing now that they've done is they've allowed Noralities to come in with pretty much calling people out for being into something, while she herself is into the exact same thing. It's just a different name. And they didn't want to really say anything about it, and they softballed it the whole time. And so now she's grown into something that they can't handle. And so now AndyTube has their very first villain of this platform. They can't stop it, and now they have to live with it. And I can't save them this time. Like, I wasn't trying to save anyone before. I would just sit back and laugh. But now it's just you guys have to figure it out. I'm going to go play some fun video games, probably with Big Booba. It's just where we are.
Yeah, it is interesting that she's kind of like the antithesis to everything within like AnitTube. And yeah, I mean, I do agree. I don't think there is like a central anime community because, yeah, you have your slice of life fans, your shonen heads. And while they are both in anime, they are two vastly different groups. So can't really categorize them that way. And, yeah, it's just a mess, man, with their whole thing. Sorry, I'm going insane thinking that video. Probably not healthy for me to keep talking about it because I've just listened to it so much, but yeah, it's just
we're gonna watch it after this. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, is that our bonus?
Stream, so
is that our bonus episode?
Bonus, yo.
Just saying.
Yo, instead of giving her 2 views, we're gonna give her 1 view, and you're gonna be streaming it to me.
Oh, fuck you, man. I am not going to. I'm not going to suffer through that again.
I think you should.
But yeah, like she does kind of seem like, I guess, like the villain to AnitTube because a lot of them do seem like they have opposing opinions to her, and I mean, she basically is talking about how women are excluded in the community. But it's like if you just look outside the central or the main set of AnitTube, you'll find plenty of female AnitTubers. You find plenty of female creators. I don't really understand that tangent she went on, and it's just a lot. I know this is probably boring for the people that aren't familiar with the Norality situation, but a lot of people are. So I'm sure most people listening do understand what we're talking about because it's kind of a hot topic right now.
They'll find out. It's
figure it out
everywhere, and if they're on Twitter, then I know that they've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's been getting passed around in so many like Twitter posts and threads, and thankfully, from what I've seen, most people are disagreeing with it. I know mostly just like the Tumblr side agree with whatever the fuck she's saying. So
no, the only Twitter thing that I saw in the past week was the Nagatoro.
Oh, are you talking about that whole thread? Dude,
that
was a whole freaking thread. It was like 52 tweets in that one thread, something like that.
I think it was more than that. No, because he was going for a full day, and yeah, it somehow started with him talking about how the translations for Nagatoro are bad, and that it said sus. And I have problems with translations and like how localizations are handled, but apparently, I guess that was how it was supposed to be translated, but it wasn't even this big of a deal to go on. He equated it to how the Nazis had a point and basically went on a bunch of like more racist ramblings and then like just started just talking about George Floyd. I'm like, dude, how do you get from sus Nagatoro to this? It was funny as hell, man. If I can be honest.
I read half the thread and I was like, I don't think my brain cells can handle the rest of the thread.
And he probably made more sense than Noralities.
Dude, I really want to watch it now. Like, I'm not even joking.
I said that could be our bonus episode content, just saying.
Bonus episode. Like, literally live reaction right after.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Yeah, did you see that thread, though, Till? I mean, maybe you did, yeah.
No.
You're not living on Twitter.
I get on Twitter like twice, and that's to up or like and retweet all of the past Askcast stuff that I'd missed before.
Hey, at least you're a true shill.
You know, and the thing is, Kazu, is you brought up on the tweet talking about the Wyatt thread, and Jeans, who I'm on the podcast with the Scarlet Symphony thing that we do, and I had messaged him, I think maybe hours before you put out that tweet, and I kind of told him, I said, you know that the Wyatt thread has kind of set us back like a lot. Like, even if his whole thing was to have, like, you know, shits and giggles and put it out there for whoever, it still is going to be used against everybody that is, look at this localization and how bad it is. And then you came out with a tweet almost saying the exact same thing, and he showed up in the same reply, and he was like, you know, maybe we'll have to see. Time will tell.
Yeah, I do remember him saying that, and I pretty much agree with that, like 100%, because that was such an extreme, and he was on the side of criticizing translations. Of course, now everybody that remembers that thread is going to look at everybody that criticizes translations as the same as him, and it's like it just sucks, because that is going to set actual criticisms back, actual what problems people have with it. And now, like, more translations are just going to be free to do whatever the fuck they want without, backlash. I don't know why my mind was freaking out for a second. Without any backlash, because, people are going to be shutting down the critics. They're going to be shutting down people that just have genuine problems with it. And, like, it just sucks. I don't know how you feel about it, Jake.
With the translations, or just how it's going to set back?
Well, with both. Like, because to me, like, even though I guess, like, apparently in the actual Japanese, they did say sus and shorten it. But to me, I still don't really like the idea of just memifying, like, every single, like, anime. Because it's just going to get to, like, more and more. Like, what I've compared it to, basically, is, like, it's another 4Kids situation where they're, like, trying a little too hard to, like, aim it at a Western audience to the point where it starts becoming its own product. I feel like that's what's going to happen with, like, translations and localizations at some point. It's like it's going to lose the actual intention it had with, like, originally in Japan, and it's going to start becoming like, how do you do, fellow kids? Among Us imposter jokes every 2 seconds. And I don't know if I'm here for that.
So here's my take, right? Just for the translation part. In Nagatoro, I was like in the middle. I don't really care that they use sus, because I'm gonna be frank, we've used sus for a long time, even before Among Us. So, like, to me, her saying sus and being in high school, it kind of like makes sense in my eyes, right? And I guess in your eyes too. But I can see your thing with a lot of translations, like, the Funimation, the way they would, like, try to get their own views across in an anime with pretty much butchering the translation to get their point across.
Dragon Maid.
Yeah, I know. I think that's probably the worst thing that you can do, because now a lot of people are just not getting the same product. It's like a game, right? A gacha game, and there's two different versions: the Japanese version and the global version. They're not going to be the same. There's going to be a difference, but they're not going to be the same inherently.
That's a good way to put it. I know, Tell, you didn't see it. I mean, I don't know if you have any 2 cents to contribute.
I just gotta say, if it does go the route that you're thinking it will, Ethan, then this community is gonna turn to absolute cancer.
You know what? I think you know what we should be. We should be in the front. Ass podcast leading the charge.
No, I don't want to jump on that bandwagon.
Nah. Please God, no.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully my 4 kids analogy made sense, because that's kind of what like my mind has been jumping to every time I see like memes and localizations, basically.
Yeah, those 4 kids translations were something else.
They were nice.
I think we talked enough about this little situation, and I would like to start chilling for Necro. Right? I just want to know what got you into making YouTube videos.
People ask me that, and I actually have an answer for it.
Yo, let's go.
So yeah, I know. Usually I'm like, I don't know anything, but I got into YouTube. So the long miserable road of me coming to YouTube was very strange. So I got hurt at my job back in like 2016, and I was out of work for an entire year. And so before that year was up, I think it was around like the new year, I was playing games with one of my friends who just now started to like do a lot of streaming, and he showed me Rags videos, and I was like, oh, these look pretty cool. I'll just kind of watch them and see what I like about them. And I kind of like put them off for like maybe a week or two, and then I started sitting down and watching them, and then I watched almost the entire back catalog. I was like, this guy's funny. I like what he does with the little dog thing. And I think right around then I was kind of halfway watching anitubers. I think Mother's Basement, which was weird because you know, but so what I did was I was watching some of his videos, and I was like, okay, these are pretty entertaining. And I think even to some extent I was watching Digibro videos, but I never watched the Anime Man because there's only so much acceptable like levels of douchebaggery that I'll accept, and he was already off the charts. So I was watching, the basic ones, I guess. And I sat down one day and I was watching Twitch on my TV, and they had this marathon going on, and it was of the one show that I covered. It was like one of the first videos I ever made, and I was like, oh, this show is the one that Digibro said was bad. I guess I'll give it a chance since I don't have anything better to do. So I sat there and I watched it, and it was pretty okay. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen. It wasn't as bad as he was saying that it was. So I was like, but now I have to form my own opinion about this thing that I just saw. So I said, you know what? I want to be like that Rags guy. I want to debunk the anitubers. And so then without me knowing anything of how anything worked on the internet, I go to my good old computer and I find some artists to commission, and I'm just throwing money at them. I don't know how to commission them. I'm like, hey, can you draw this character to look like this? And I need to have like this many poses. And I think when I first started, there was only like 3 of them. And I think I got to like one point where there was like 13 different poses that I was able to get. But I started out just, I figured I would talk about something that I liked, which was Symphogear. And it would eventually just go into, okay, I need to do the debunking thing. And one of the first things that I thought of was the Digibro video. And that's pretty much where the rest is history.
Nice. You asked a good question for once, Jake.
Yeah, dude. Are you serious, dude? I'm like,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
not that useless right now, all right?
You're carrying your weight finally.
I'm actually going to kill you.
Yeah, you guys can ask me any questions. I'm not opposed to questions. I'm not going to break down on the stage and be like, this isn't what we talked about, Dave.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about anything
Wasn't
before.
in the contract.
In the transcript you sent me, Dave.
So we can turn this into a business interview soon. But
Yeah, our lead mediator is going to be Dave.
Yeah, send me your resume.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting YouTube angle, I guess, to take, because I can't really think of many other like people that like at least debunk things. Like, I don't want to compare it necessarily to like a content cop like iDubbbz, but that's like the closest thing I can think of, is just where like you talk about their content and what they're saying, basically, like throughout the whole video. So
yeah, when I looked around before I started doing anything, one of the things that I wanted to know was if there was someone else doing the exact same thing, because I didn't want to step into like a market that had already been done before, because I could have just been like Rags and then just cover like PC versus console stuff, and then I'd just be doing the same thing as him and I would get nowhere. And so I looked at how many people are calling out anitubers, and I think there was only like one, and it was that anime snob. But I think at some point people were like, oh well, this guy has like this feel to him, very European-y. And so I was like, well, I guess I can be the American counterpart to that then.
Okay. I'll probably start watching a bit more of your videos too.
Don't worry, they're all terrible.
Hey, our podcast is terrible. Don't worry. That doesn't deter us.
Yeah. So, what, if you have one, was your favorite video that you made that you enjoyed creating the most?
That's a loaded question.
Well, I'm just asking because I'm gonna go and listen to whatever video you mention.
I think if I had to choose any of my videos, because there's a good number of them, they all have a uniqueness to them. So I wouldn't watch any of the recent ones. Those aren't where you're going to find all the gold at. A lot of them have caused me PTSD, like the being black and liking anime sucks video, which was the Russian anime thing really that really took a toll on me.
My favorite Russian anime, Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, my favorite Russian anime. I think that if there's one that I had to pick out specifically that I think was the most fun to do, it was the Cells at Work one that I did.
Okay, I'm down for that. I'm actually like the only one on here that enjoys Cells at Work.
Yeah, it's called I Fight Cancer That Reviewed Cancer, because I'm so good at titles that I was able to make it up. So I watched that video, and a couple of people had sent it to me, and they're like, dude, look at, she's getting ass blasted over Cells at Work. And I said, okay, well, I've really been wanting to watch it, and I've already seen a good bit of it, because I was really worried at the time that people would say that like the red blood cell would be Claire, and I was like, I don't think that we should do that. And so I still watched it anyways, like the first 1 or 2 episodes or so, and I already knew what was going to happen. But when I watched this video from Anime America, where she was like, oh well, we like all of this stuff that's in it, look at how it tells you about the human body, and it shows all of them in a fun anime way, but we can't talk about cancer. And I said, well, why not?
Yeah.
That's a video that got deleted. And I believe someone sent her the video on Twitter, and then they blocked them. So I would say that that's probably my most favorite video.
That's pretty funny.
All right. That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, you hit it right in the nail, like not even knowing tells the Cells at Work stand here, so I think he'll definitely love that one.
It's not even that we don't enjoy it, is that we haven't watched it.
Yeah.
It's a cute
I've
little
told
show.
them to watch it, but they don't take me serious. It's a cute little show, and then he goes skipping over with high hopes to Code Black, and then your hopes and dreams are crushed.
Oh, she would be crushed by Code Black, I think. Can't cover those topics in that one.
Definitely not.
No.
Well, I mean, maybe another random question. Like, do you have any character inspirations that you got for Claire?
So when I was designing Claire at first, I didn't, because in my very limited view of what I could see, or what I could tell anyways, was that there weren't a lot of redhead characters, at least, just kind of out there that people really liked. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll look around for one. And then I found Arashi from the Kantai collection, the one with the boats, the boat girl one. And I said, oh, well, that one's cute. And so I kind of took that look of like just like her face and hair and things like that. And there's another manga that I was reading at the same time too. I think it was TQ, or it was like the spin-off one of it. And I really liked the look of like the cardigan and the jeans. and I always wear flip-flops, so I kind of just said, you know what, throw those on there too. Not for the foot fetish thing, but just because I wear flip-flops everywhere, especially when it's warm. So I kind of just send all of this to Mitsaru, who's the first artist I commissioned, and she gets it put together. And then I kind of had this idea to send like the same set of ideas to a bunch of different artists that I commissioned to see what they would come up with. And that's how we ended up with the Claire that has the red hair. And then when we got to the blonde one, TK, Tablet Knight, he's the one that like sent me the designs, and it still had the red hair. And I was like, well, I want to redesign past that. And so I came up with just blonde. And then we had 3 different hairstyles, and I said, no, the short one. I want her to be like a tomboy, because the first redhead Claire was supposed to be like this girl next door. Like, she's supposed to be chill and have a chill vibe. And now this one is not so chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely unique in the sense that it's a big titty anime girl with a deep man voice. But
yeah, those jokes, while they died out eventually, for like the first year, it was, this character's a trap. Why is this anime girl with a deep voice telling me why I hate anitubers? Those were a lot of the comments, and I was like, at some point, it'll probably end. It took a while, but it did.
It did end. That's a good part.
And now, as I say that, someone's going to be like, man, this anime girl has a deep voice.
they're probably going to comment that on your newest video.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go comment that on the newest video. I'll make sure it's from me.
Yeah, I know that there's a couple of videos that have responded to me, and they're mostly people in the commentary community because they don't like me very much. I don't identify with them or the anitubers. I'm really just an individual that makes videos on the internet. It's not too deep, but I know that there was maybe 1 or 2 of them that were like, well, we know that Necro thinks this way, and he had to have done this, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, I just sit down at the computer, I slap some shit into Vegas Pro, and then I just make a video. That's it. That's all anyone will probably do. When I see something stupid, like if the goblins in Goblin Slayer are being related to the people of the Jewish nation, I have to start questioning people's sanity a little bit.
I'm just wondering how far-fetched you have to get to relate those two.
Hey, people stretch to make 2 things correlate, no matter how fucking bizarre. If they want to prove their point, they'll prove it in any goddamn way they find.
It's beyond me. I don't get it.
And I've had a lot of bad takes be thrown at me, and sometimes in the very rare case, like even Neuralities is kind of like on that weird line. I just don't know if I'm going to cover them because they're just so outlandish.
Here I pose another question. What are the most outlandish claims that you debated on whether or not to make a YouTube video, and you instead scrapped the idea?
That is a good one, because I have a lot of... there's one actually right now that I don't know if I'm going to release or not. It's about SAC Anime, which is Sacramento, like, anime convention that they have. And as I was looking through this one video, and the guy that sourced the article obviously didn't read through it, and he doesn't know anything about, like, the state and its restrictions on these certain counties. And I'm close enough that I know about it just anyways. But in the article, it tells you that they didn't do this thing. And this is like as most recent as I can remember. And he lives in Kentucky. And he's like, well, why are we still having anime conventions? By the way, catch me at this anime convention at the end of the month. I said, wow, you're really sticking it to us this time. And that's one of the ones that I just don't know if I'm going to release because it's just me yelling at him for like maybe 15 minutes. I don't think that there was ever a a video that I've ever scrapped, I would say that if I had to find one, like just off of the top of my head, it's probably the Mother's Basement one, where he did a Goblin Slayer video, and I think I stopped maybe a quarter of the way through, or maybe halfway through his video, and I said, you know what, you don't get a full video, because if you're gonna say all of these obviously stupid things, I don't need to watch the rest of it. And then I stopped the video, and I didn't even want to finish it. I still put out the video, but I didn't have anything else to say or think about it.
Nice, very nice, very nice. I can't even say anything because I don't watch a lot of AniTube, like even beforehand. Like even now, I still don't watch it. So like I don't really get to. I only see what people say about the videos. I don't actually watch the videos. So
it's really surprising the number of people that watch AniTubers, but then there's an even like a weird subculture of people that just absolutely hate them. And maybe I found like just the few people that do hate them just enough, or maybe they still watch them, which is perfectly fine. All it is me disagreeing with these people. I would say that it's not from a place that I hate AniTubers like on a personal level. I just think that what they say sometimes, or most of the time, is really fucking stupid. Kazu knows this because he's seen like the scars that I've had to endure.
Yeah, said a long-time viewer here. Yeah, I didn't really watch AniTubers before that, and even then, I always try to remember like how I stumbled across your channel, but I think it is literally because Anime Man said something really stupid from one of the videos I saw, and I was like, what the fuck is this, man? And then there was like a video recommended. I'm pretty sure it was yours. I just know it came from one of Joey's videos, and then I saw that, I was like, oh, I agree with that. And then continued from there. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like, I don't hate AniTubers either. I mean, they say a lot of dumb shit, and the trend I noticed with a lot of big AniTubers now is the bigger they get, the less they care about anime, which is kind of just weird. It's sort of like they just kind of abandon what I guess they said they love.
I think I have a reason. I have an explanation for it. I think this is my greatest theory about why they've done so. And it's because, like I was talking to the boys last night, there's a wall that I'm going to hit at some point when it comes to YouTube, where I'm not going to be able to pretty much make videos that often or in the same way that I used to, because things are kind of changing. But the AniTubers are going to hit that wall first. And so what they have to do is pivot. So like the Anime Man, for example, he's the best example for this. He doesn't do like anime reviews and things like that because it's not what he has to do anymore. It's more like Japanese vlogging type of things. Like I went to a stripper's house in Akihabara and she sent me 3,000 nude pictures, and that's pretty much his video. Or I spent the day with one of the world's biggest AniTubers and we both made out, and that's the video for the next day. But it's never going to be the hidden message behind My Hero Academia and have circles everywhere pointing to you like, oh, look at Deku's supposed to be this allegory for Jesus or something. Because that's not what he has to do anymore. And I mean, his content, to be fair, was never really too focused on that, but it doesn't have to be either. Mm-hmm. Giga kind of did the same thing where he would talk about anime in a very critical way, and then he would be able to have his funny type videos, but he can still do that, but just not as often. And they make like $50,000 a month on Patreon over at the Trash Taste podcast. They're not hurting for anybody to watch their videos, but when they do that, they get so much ad rev. I wouldn't have to. If I made that kind of money, you bet your ass I'm not talking about anything that has to do with anime. Oh wait, this that new Jujutsu Kaisen came out. Oh, that's great. Now let's go to this ramen shop down the street.
Yeah, that's a sensible explanation. It's like I think I knew why. I guess it's just more like an interesting observation. Like Yeah, like I don't even like necessarily dislike Nux or anything like that. I know a lot of people fucking hate his guts, but it's
Nux
just
he's on the thing for me. I don't watch him either.
yeah, it's just like with him especially, he's just completely kind of transitioned into just showing people cursed anime clips, even though he was probably like the biggest channel that did like analytical reviews of anime, and then just randomly stopped. So
Yeah, that was probably like the most prominent one. This was like when he had like less than like 100K subscribers.
well, he was doing him up into 1 million too. It's like
Yeah, I know. We saw that because we would talk about it. We were like, hey, you see the next Nux talk. That was mostly like the biggest
actually, yeah,
flexes
I think
in
he was.
anime.
I think it's probably like the only one I watched, I guess, because like for a bit at least, maybe like 2 or 3 months span, and that was really it. Other than that, I didn't really watch anitubers, and even though I have like a sub 1K channel, I don't even like necessarily consider myself an anituber, despite the fact that I've only talked about anime. So I don't know.
Listen, they rope you in the second you talk about anime. In another constituent, I guess in some regard, said that if you talk about anime, even for one video, then congratulations, you're an anituber.
Oh man, hey, you know what?
Yeah,
I
see a lot of people.
Put in your bio. You're an anituber now.
No, I don't want that
Put
slur
in
my bio.
your bio. You're an
It's a slur around these parts.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right, because a lot of people do refer to like Critical as an anituber. I'm like, he just does moist meters on anime. I would not really consider him an anituber, but
there's so many things that I wish I didn't know about what I know now. And so now I can relay the information to people that are coming to YouTube and like, man, I can't wait to be a big YouTuber. Let me tell you, it's a lot of depression, and it's a lot of just writer's block, and you don't know what you're going to do the next week or the week after sometimes. And it gets easier at some point, but when you first start out, it's really hard.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I've already been in a bit of a block for the last month. I've been trying to like figure out how to write a fucking video, and then I'm just like, no, I don't want to do this topic, and then I'll jump to another one, and it's just rough.
By the way, you guys don't have to ask me like YouTube related questions. I am a human after all.
Yes. What did you have for lunch today?
I had Charlie's Philly cheesesteak sub things. Yeah,
Never
that's
heard
what
of
they
that.
are. They're pretty good.
They're very delicious. I have been over there.
Oh, is it like a restaurant or like a frozen thing?
That's a restaurant. I mean, they might have frozen stuff too, but the restaurant's fine.
Well, we can ask this one. I mean, I guess to keep it on the topic of anime at least, because we've asked almost all of our guests. Jake, how many guests haven't we asked this question to?
No one actually. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh no, we've missed one guest. I think it was Oates. But anyways, what's your favorite anime? I think I know the answer, but
Then it's Symphogear.
yeah, I figured.
He did say so. It was kind of a redundant question.
Well, he brought up he said he liked Symphogear. That didn't say that it was his favorite.
I would guess if you say like one of your favorite shows is Symphogear, like when you said it, I would probably guess that's probably like your top 5. That's what I would have guessed.
Symphogear is my favorite show. Probably my number one favorite show. It's one of the only things that I will go out of my way to buy things for, regardless. So I have all of the box sets for the Blu-ray. Yeah, so I think so far they have 3 of them. I haven't opened them yet, but I'm thinking about it because I really want to watch them again. And that one is like the number one best show. It's the way that I tell people in the worst nerdy way possible, because it's a cancer on society, is that it reminds me of like the Marvel movies, because each season starts with like this big grand opening in like season or the first episode, and then it just like it hooks you in, and then you watch the rest of the episodes, and then it kind of ends with a bang too. So in between, it's all of this like build up. Sometimes people die, kind of, but to me it just kind of it started because of when I watched it, and it was like this weird like time in my life dealing with relationship stuff, and so then I was like, oh, this show is a cope, and now I cope with it every single time I look at it. And that's like the one. I wouldn't say Azumanga Daioh is my number 1 favorite, but it is definitely number 2. And that's a timeless classic of a show.
Still need to see that. I'm a huge Nichijou fan, and everybody says if you like Nichijou, you'd love Azumanga.
Kazu, if you need tonight, I will boot up Azumanga Daioh with you. If you like Yuru Camp, you need to watch Azumanga Daioh. You look at that show. That show had to suffer so that way Yuru Camp could be born.
We'll have to see the roots then, because I mean, I do see Nichijou, Yuru Camp, Nanan Biori, all of those like kind of in the bubble of Azumanga Daioh,
and it's good in English too,
and has a good English dub. So yeah, and with Simple Gear, I think I've only seen the first episode, so I do know what you mean about like just opening with a bang, because I knew going in, I was like, oh, this is kind of magical girl idols. I know that's probably a terrible description with everything that's going on now, but magical girl idols fighting monster kind of, it was just like a bunch of shit mixed together. But then it was a brutal first episode. I was like, holy shit, this is way more fucked than I was expecting.
Yeah, at first I wasn't gonna watch it. I was like, oh wait, so because the poster, the way that they had like the visual, it was kind of framed as like the 2 girls that are on the front obviously transform into the 2 girls on the back, and I was like, this might be actually kind of mid. And then I watched it and I go, holy shit. No, this is fucking lit. I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It flipped me on my head.
I definitely need to get through all of it. It's probably going to be my big show I watch this year, or Hunter x Hunter, one of the two. Or both. Who knows? But I've been meaning to watch for so long after that first episode.
I think that probably will be my long show for this week. Or for this year. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another long show in a while. I've done too many.
Unless we do that Gintama rewatch.
Don't tempt me, alright? I've been looking at it every day, every time I go on Crunchyroll.
You just said Crunchyroll.
Oh, let's get into... This is how you segue into it. I would like to know, what is your problem with Crunchyroll? Or let the viewers know.
Oh, there we go. Oh, all
okay.
Right. You're asking the question here.
Without spoiling the video that I'm working on, I can tell you that they make a lot of money, and then they do absolutely nothing with it, except for themselves. That's the best way I can put that. I can... You know what? It's fine. This will come out, like, in the future. So by the time that this comes out, I think I'll already be contemplating if I want to bring out this video or not.
Yo, podcast exclusive.
Yes, sir.
So the thing that I wrote down is pretty much the first part of the video is the history. The second part of it is the issues that I have with them, which I pointed all out to say that it's the typos and inaccuracies and subtitles. Their awful video player that they had before Flash died, and then they had to move to HTML5. The money for the industry, in air quotes, and the industry standard, which is something that I made up. The industry standard is kind of like the last segment of it. So when they do the typos and all of this stuff that's in the subtitles, there was a Naruto scene where Jiraiya's talking, I believe, and they put an alien emoji in there. And I said, well, I'm sure that's not supposed to be there. They pay top dollar for all these translators, and they pay them $8 a day. That's a thing. Their HTML5 player that they had to upgrade to, by the way, on their website, like way back in the day, I say way back in the day, it wasn't that long ago, but they had the Crunchy viewer, which was actually spyware that someone put onto their website, and Crunchyroll never fixed the problem. They had other people, like the community, said, hey, there's this tool that you can download to get rid of the Crunchy viewer, which is spyware on your computer. Crunchyroll didn't care. Miles will fight me tooth and nail for that, probably. Maybe not anymore because he doesn't work there. Their video player also had this weird compression issue, which they say no one would have noticed if it weren't for those pesky pirates pointing it out. That's a thing that happened. And then the biggest one, which is like the third thing that I wrote down before I got to like the important stuff. Do you guys know how much money Crunchyroll has made ever since its existence?
Well, I can take a guess because Sony did buy it for like $1 billion, I think. Just not too long ago.
Yeah, 1.2 billion. Do you know how much they made before they got bought by them?
I'm gonna be guessing it's probably around like in the 8 or 9 ish range.
Billion?
Yeah.
No, they probably have made that much. Do you know how much they make each year?
Each year? Oh no.
You can throw out any guesses. Any guesses?
I'll say 700 to 800 million a year.
I'm gonna go with 550.
All right, throw in your number.
Oh, we're just trying to match each other here.
It's an auction.
801.
The price is right.
So they make, without any other factors, because their lowest subscription, like to actually have their service, is $8 a month. And the other thing about it is that you have to understand that they make ad revenue and all that other stuff. But just at $8 a month, they've already announced before that they had over 4 million subscribers. So if you add those up, that's $32 million each month, which would then mean $384 million per year. And that's without them having any merchandise being sold through their store, without Crunchyroll Expo that they hold each year, because they started doing that like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And so they got money that way. And they also have ad revenue for people that don't want to pay for a subscription, so they get ads. And they also have the higher price tiers too. So if you really love them, then you can give them double the amount of money. But they make all of this money, but over the past 10 years, I think up to 2018. So from 2008 to 2018, they had only given back $100 million, which is roughly $10 million each year. Which may sound like a lot, but when you consider the fact that budgets keep going up, that's kind of like a drop in the bucket, damn near. But there's more problems than that, but that's just a little bit of it.
The little taste of it, yeah. Just sounds like very bad business practices that they can get away with because they're probably one of the founders for anime streaming services.
Well, pirating services, but yeah. Originally. Yeah. Both them and like Funimation are pretty scummy. Funimation on just the translations alone, honestly. But yeah, and many more. But is that a satisfying answer for you? Oh,
well, I went to Anime Expo and that was a fun romp around Los Angeles. I think that that would be the interview question.
Oh yeah, because I'm somebody that's interested in going to Anime Expo eventually, and I'm sure Jay can tell probably too. But
maybe I don't know if I want to go to an expo anytime soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, dude? I mean, even the ones over here in fucking nowhere, they're fun.
Well, you didn't even invite me to Kamehameha Con, all right?
What? No, that's not what it's called. It's just literally the Albuquerque Comic Con. I mean, it was a Comic Con, but it was basically just an anime convention because not a single fucking comic thing was set up. It was just a bunch of dudes running around in Attack on Titan stuff. But anyways, how was Anime Expo? Like, what is,
in the best way that I can put this, because I can tell you the before, during, and after.
Let's hear that.
All right, so this was the before. I had a falling out with another anituber that people may know. It's What the What. Don't worry, he's gonna come here and stalk me anyways. So I had a falling out with What the What for some reason because I wanted more original anime being made instead of more sequels. But whatever. So we were gonna hash it out and do something when we got to Anime Expo. That was a thing that happened before. I also had the police called on me preemptively before landing in Los Angeles. A crazy person thought that I was, what was I doing? Apparently, like, trying to threaten someone in person. And so they then called the LAPD and said, you better watch out for this NECRO XIII guy. He's coming to LA. This is my city. And obviously nothing came of that anyways. So I drove about 8 or 9 hours from where I lived in Tennessee all the way down to New Orleans, Louisiana, where we took our plane because my friend had never been on a plane before, and we were like, okay, well we'll just go down there and we'll fly out from there. So I left at like 7:00 that one night, got there around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and then we got on our plane, which I think left at like 6 or something. We get to LA, bright and sunny early, and then we're traveling around the entire city for hours. This was on day 0, and I got to see the people line up. People were on Reddit posting pictures of like the girls' frontline booth, which is what I was the most interested in. And I think the first day when it opened up, I was in line for about an hour and a half or something like that. And I was in like this weird obscure line that no one went to because they all went to the other one near the exhibition hall. So if you go to Anime Expo, my biggest suggestion is, for one, don't bring a bag, and 2, don't go to the exhibition hall line because you'll be in that one for like 3 hours. That was the one that like Lost Paws and a bunch of those other people were talking about how they couldn't get in. It's that. When you're in there, it's not too bad. At least on day 1, it wasn't. And then they had the ingenious idea on day 2, instead of having everyone outside being checked through security, they said, hurry up and rush them through, and we'll have everyone inside when everything opens up. So that means that everybody was shoulder to shoulder, if you even want to call it that. And I will never forget this as long as I live in my entire life. The doors opened because they only had 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and I was pretty close to the front, and if they had opened up those doors, I would have been one of the first people in. When the one door opens on our side, I get lifted off of the ground and pushed with everybody in a sea of people to go in through this door. And once we get through the door, the Asian people, I love Asian people, by the way, they Naruto run to the fucking girls' frontline booth, and I get very upset because that booth is what I wanted to get to the most. And it kind of mellows out from that point. A lot of people's credit card stuff didn't work because you have 100,000 people condensed into one space. I think the total amount was 130,000 people. So I'm being generous. I attended day 3 a little bit, but that's when my concert was. Day 3 was I think it was like that Saturday. So Saturday night I go to a concert all the way on like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and at the same time people like What the What wanted me to go to this anituber meetup so we could hash out our issues, and I said I'm not going to that. I don't like anitubers. So I go to the concert that I'd already paid money for, and I still got shit for it even after Anime Expo. That was the best concert I'd ever been to. And so the last and final day, everyone's sad and they're leaving, and there wasn't a lot that was happening at the convention, really. It's, you know, your usual wind down, and people don't have a lot of stuff that they really want to get. But going to the airport was the hardest part, because I think I spent like $60 or $70 on an Uber. Jesus. And then it wasn't all that bad because I got my layover in Vegas and I won $1,000. So that's what happened before, during, and after.
That sounds like a fun event, because yeah, I mean, I've always liked expos. I'm never one that like cosplays or anything. I don't know if that's why you don't want to go, Jake, is because you don't want to dress up.
I don't care. You don't have to dress up to go to an expo. I know that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just fun.
It's too condensed for me, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I just like wasting money, I guess. I go to those cons and I just see dollar signs and like, oh, time to buy this shit. And then when I get home, I'm like, did I really need this? And I just let it sit in my room for a year. But you know, it's still fun.
That's why we need to go to Japan.
Yeah, when we're going to Japan, it's gonna be a mess, an absolute fucking mess.
We're taking another suitcase just for.
No, I'm buying one out there, man. Save money on the way there, you know. But, yeah. So. Well, we've been going for about an hour, so we can just go ahead and get into the final part, I think, right? Is that okay with you boys?
It's up to you. You are the host.
Oh, now you consider me the host, Jake. Oh, all right. When it's convenient for you, you consider me the host.
No comment.
Well, all right. Yeah, I'm going to give no comment there. Well, we can just go into our usual final segment. What have you boys been watching and reading recently, if anything? If you want to start us off, Tail.
I have no updates, I don't think, from last week. I'm trying to think if I watched anything since then, but I really don't think I did. As I said before, week before finals week, Hell Week, it's not been fun, so I haven't really had much time.
The only manga I've been reading is Rent a Girlfriend. So, and then other than that, just keeping up with seasonals, unlike a certain host at this podcast.
Fuck you, actually, because I caught up on Nagatoro, but I am behind on everything else.
Exactly. Well,
So-
you're my point proven, right? I'm caught up on everything except for Baskets, which I'm going to be watching after this. So, yeah.
I haven't read or watched anything aside from Nagatoro recently, but I did just get my shipment of Astro Lost in Space today, so that's more manga to add to my backlog. I have a fuck ton of manga to read. Exhibit A of me wasting money is just all of that back there. You probably see on the webcam if you guys are watching the YouTube version. Like half of that hasn't been read.
That's really
So,
sad.
But it's pretty to look at, so I don't regret it. But yeah, I mean, I haven't read or watched much aside from like I guess a little bit of Sachi's Monstrous Appetite. That's it. And,
I don't watch anime or read that much anymore. When content creation is like the thing that you do, or at least when I do it because I'm lazy, I don't get time to watch anything. But I guess if I had to find something that I am currently viewing, it's Dark Side Phil. I have to watch the DSP content. I'm in like, we're in this weird arc right now where he's not a Twitch partner anymore, so we have to see how that kind of plays out a little bit. And one of his biggest supporters, Only Iced Coffee, is he's gonna support Dark Side Phil for the whole time that he's going to be unpartnered forever. So I'm waiting for the $1,500 a week to just kind of show up for him.
he pays $1,500 a week.
Well, the TLDR is Only Iced Coffee always tips Phil. He calls them tips instead of donations because of the terminology of how he wants to present it. There's another story behind it, but if Only Iced Coffee were to tip Phil $200 each stream, because he streams twice a day, so $400 a day, then he's roughly around the $1,500 that he'll be paying him.
Jesus.
I have no words.
That sounds like the life, honestly.
Trust me, it's the most thrilling anime I think that you can watch right now.
Yeah, for context, by the way, Jake, I think that's the guy that I don't know too much about DSP, but he is the guy that jacked off on Twitch, right? Like live.
Yeah, that's his legacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you ever heard of that, but
it's
yeah,
actually
that was him.
thanks to two other content creators that I actually got into being a DSP detractor. It was It's a Gundam and Almighty Tevin. They kind of helped spur that, so now every time I talk to them, it's always that.
It's a good thing to bond over. Well, you can go ahead and plug whatever shit you have, Necro.
Wow. See, I don't like self-advertising all that much, which is weird because that's what you're supposed to do. I guess the only thing I can really plug, because I'm gonna make some changes soon. But one of the things that I guess I can plug is my Twitch, where I stream on Twitch every so often whenever I figure out a time and consistency, whatever that is, which is just twitch.tv/necro_13. And I usually try to update like a day before I actually like go live. So that's like the new thing that I'm doing.
Awesome. Is that all you want to plug?
Yeah,
Twitter?
Is that all you plug?
You know, Twitter comes and goes. Feels bad.
Yeah, getting sus come back. But what are you gonna say, Jake?
Speaking of streaming, we have not streamed in over 2 months.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till I'm like have a hardline connection before I decide to do that, man. Because streaming on Wi-Fi, going back and looking at those VODs, I was like, that's a nightmare, man. That was what was I thinking?
I think mine were at least all right.
Well, yeah, yours are fine, but not mine.
Wi-Fi.
And I did like streaming, but it's hard to be entertaining. I have respect for streamers because it's hard to keep entertainment by yourself and relying maybe sometimes on chat for the content, because it's just like you just gotta keep thinking of shit to say. So
yeah, I have the utmost respect for them.
And I also have the utmost respect for our patrons, Jake.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Oh yeah.
If you want to become a patron and be like one of these beautiful members over here, you can head on over to patreon.com/AskCast. Big thank you to Outdated, Hadrian, Corbin, Fanner, and our new patron, Thomas T. Fry. Thank you guys for being patrons. We're actually going to get a bonus out real soon. It should be out before this episode airs, actually. So look forward to that. We promise we are trying our best those bonuses. But if you want to listen to our other episodes, you can head on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, all at Anime Safe Space. You can also hit us up on Twitter at Anime Safe Space. Feel free to DM us, tweet at us, and give us suggestions, or just shoot the shit with us. And if you want to shoot the shit with us somewhere else, you can head on over to our Discord. The links are always down in the description. We do AMQ nights, game nights, watch-alongs, and you can just get to know the community better. And I think that's about it, right, boys?
That's about it.
Jake, you have any special ending you want to give us, like usual?
No. Ended it right there.
Fuck you, man.
I got one. I can do one. It's time to drink. I got this Jim Beam Devil's Cut that I really need to get rid of because it's just staring at me. So,
ooh, you sure you don't want to join us for the bonus episode and then we'll just get drunk?